Hey everybody. So welcome to the Psychiatric Service Dog. So I wanted to cover this topic of autism or childish, or how about bipolar disorder, mania specifically, or childish. Say hi to Nina over here, chilling on my bed. Don't worry, it's not hot. It's actually very cool in my room. She just wants the fan on, but it's a little loud, so she's okay. Plus, she's been running around the house, so that's cool. She's a little hot. She'll be fine, so don't worry about it. So I guess I just wanted to talk about that topic because I personally, I get that a lot. A lot of people say I have a very bubbly personality and a very childish personality. So, growing up, I was always told that. But then, on the other hand, I was also told that I was kind of above my age. I was very mature for my age. But now that I'm an adult, now that I've become adult, people more lean towards, you're really childish. Which is a bit insulting if you think about it. Last thing you want to hear from other adults is, oh, you're childish. When you've been told your entire life that you aren't childish, you are actually very mature on both. But I'm not really childish in per se for what they're thinking. They're thinking, oh, I'm childish because I'm not like a child. Well, what a lot of people don't know is, guess what? I'm autistic. And it's kind of a symptom from my autism. I don't know if this is a all autistic kind of thing for all autistic people, but I know for me it is. I also know when I am manic from my bipolar disorder, I tend to act childish. There's something called raging from your bipolar disorder too, and it's where you get so angry that you can't control your emotions, or you can't really control your anger. Like, I have actually blacked out because I've gotten so mad. I will go. I mean, from the looks of it, I'm a very calm person because I am. But when I start to rage, I will fucking start, excuse my French, I won't go punching people, but, I have gone and, punched walls and just flipping out for no reason. And they're like, dude, you need to chill out, you're being so childish, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I'm raging. It's part of my disorder. I literally can't control it. It's like, the best way I can explain it is like, you know when you get mad, okay? So, I'll get mad, like a normal person. Usually, for a normal person, you get mad, and you can dial it back. With bipolar disorder, you get mad, and then you get hit 50 times above. And you can't control that. You don't have the ability to tell whether or not, oh, let me just dial that back. Let me dial that back. You can't do that. You can't control your emotions. It's called a mood disorder for a reason. Autism is a developmental brain disorder. If you don't know that. For those of you who don't know. Which means, you can kind of think of it as like, the best way to put it is my brain is wired differently. But my brain was kind of not created appropriately. It's the best way really to put it. But I wired differently a whole lot better. It's a lot more, friendlier. And that comes with its own set of symptoms. Unfortunately, it does. And it does kind of make me act a whole lot more childish than necessary. And the reason being is because I think these sort of things, right? Okay? Like I have my own way of thinking things, but everybody else kind of over here, and they think this way. It's like a universal kind of way of thinking and doing things. But me over here, I think I don't understand that. It doesn't really click for me. And that's because of the autism. Because it, like I said, wired differently. The way my wife says it, my fiance. I call her my wife, but she's my fiance. The way she puts it is she has to kind of, not necessarily dumb things down, but kind of like simplify it and then change the way she says it for me to understand. And sometimes she has to do it multiple different ways, multiple different times for me to understand. Actually, that's how I was able to get my autism diagnosis, because unfortunately I was not diagnosed throughout school. It was hinted, it was pretty much primarily there, but because of the laws in our state, there's something called No Child Left Behind law, and so here's what happened. Little autistic me should have been taken care of. I should have been given, coping skills and in special classes and all that. Nope, No Child Left Behind kind of said, whoop, and pushes you forward. Grade. Means like they can't fail you, kind of thing. You can't leave a child behind. And unfortunately that happened. I did get held back in first grade, but after my second time of first grade, that's when the No Child Left Behind law was put in place, and I was just kept getting pushed along in school, unfortunately. Not to mention, when I was younger, it was understood that mostly only boys could have autism. Women can't really have autism. Girls can't have autism, except for very severe, rare cases where women have autism. Now it is very understood between psychologists and psychiatrists and therapists and scientists that they were wrong. Instead, female autistic people display different symptoms than male, their male counterparts. So it's a little more hidden with the females than it is males. And it has actually been shown, they actually think that it is actually 50-50. There's just that many autistic women out there who are now adults who have just went untreated and undiagnosed. They don't know. And that's really sad. And unfortunately, I was one of those people. I was undiagnosed and I've not been treated. I mean, there's not really a treatment for autism, unfortunately. But there's programs, there's things you can get into, you can get special help, you can learn coping skills. They can help, like, I don't know, like, I think they do speech there, I'm not exactly sure. There's things that they can do to help that autistic child when they become an adult. I didn't get any of that because I was undiagnosed. And the problem is most doctors do autism in children versus autism in adults. So once you're an adult, you're kind of left on your, here you go, on your own. So, yay. Unfortunately, I'm lucky, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm kind of lucky because instead of that, I have my service dog. That's what Nina primarily helps me with, is actually my autism. She does have some tasks that are kind of universal and helps with all of my disabilities, but she primarily helps with my autism. I'm kind of considering training her to start alerting to my bipolar disorder. My ESA is kind of the one who alerts to that. She's starting to pick up on it, but either way, she kind of helps mostly with the autism, so I'm kind of lucky on that end. Otherwise, I would probably be alone. Actually, um, before I was diagnosed autism, we actually thought that I was manic a lot of the time. Like, I was more manic than I was um, in depression with my bipolar disorder, and that I raged a lot. Because unfortunately, they kind of, and I don't know if this is for all people who have autism and bipolar disorder or both, but for me, the autism and my bipolar disorder, they kind of just, beep, they do like that. So if one is having symptoms, it exasperates the other. It's like, oh, well, you're autistic. Oh, guess what? Now you get to the bipolar disorder. Or I have the bipolar disorder. Well, guess what? Now you get to deal with autism symptoms too. They kind of make each other worse, is the best way to put it. And that's kind of unfortunate. But, deal with it as you go. So that's kind of why, for me, it stayed very hidden. Not to mention, I also have OCD and anxiety. So my symptoms are just kind of hidden. We didn't know. We knew when I started questioning. It's pretty much when I got engaged to my fiance, and I realized, it became very clear to me, like, she was on this other planet than I was, and I was on this planet, and she was way over here with everybody else, and I didn't understand. And it caused us a lot of arguing, because I just couldn't get on the same page as her, and she didn't understand why I wasn't on the same page as her. And I don't know, actually, at first, when I had brought up the possibility, I was like, what if it's not my bipolar disorder? What if there's something else? Like, not that I want to be diagnosed with another freaking disorder, but what if? Have we considered that? Because some of my symptoms don't correlate with my disorders. They don't. Like, I don't know, it's certain little things that I have symptoms that, like, just didn't fit with my bipolar, where we were putting it. We were saying, oh, this is a bipolar disorder symptom for me, and it just doesn't fit. Or this is an OCD symptom, but it just didn't fit appropriately, if you know what I mean. It just didn't work. So it kind of got me questioning, and then it got my therapist questioning as well. We didn't know why. We just thought, okay, well, maybe that's just me. But then, I guess I had accidentally brought up schooling, because I was very ashamed. I'm highly intelligent, is the thing. I actually come from a family of geniuses, and I'm not joking. My grandmother has an IQ of 140. My grandfather was a child prodigy. So, for me, my intelligence, that's my ego. I'm just gonna be honest, that's my ego. That's where it is. But, so, I was very ashamed to admit that growing up through school, I had problems. That even though I'm very intelligent, I had problems. I do have problems. And that's why my grades were failing in college, because I wasn't getting the help that I guess I didn't really realize that I was getting in high school, middle school, and elementary school. I have been in special classes that special needs students were put in, but for me, it wasn't like my entire schedule was special needs, and I wasn't on a 504 or IEP plan. I didn't have all that. It was just as needed, which pretty much meant throughout school. That's what happened. And I remember even in elementary school, they were like, look, either her grades have to, these scores got to go up, otherwise she's going to be put on a 504 plan. Like, they wanted to put me in special needs classes. But all the same, I didn't go to a very good school, so they kind of decided to push me along instead. I'm not hard knocking anybody, but I actually remember they would read these comprehension passages to me, and then you were to select the right answer, like comprehended, I guess, so to speak. I would say this is my answer. And the person would be like, oh, you mean this? And I'd be like, no, I mean this. And they'd be like, no, you mean this. And they would write that answer down. And that wasn't right. They shouldn't have done that. But, like I said, I didn't go to a very good school. They wanted to pass me along, and that's what they did. And this, obviously, the answer that I had was wrong. They were trying to tell me the right answer. And they shouldn't have done that, but they did. And then they actually had me take those tests a billion times until I got the bare minimum passing score, which meant they were kind of giving me writing the answers. I'm trying to make it look like I had, and I hadn't, unfortunately. And that screwed me, personally, growing up, because in college, it was hard, actually. It was kind of hard to get my disability accommodations. I was finally able to this semester, but it screwed me because now my GPA is kind of lower. I had actually lost a scholarship, and I didn't know why. And it's not like I didn't know that I was autistic, and for my other disorders, you couldn't really get the help that I needed or disability accommodations for them. So it just I kind of got screwed. And I mean, it was like, there was just a lot of questions like that. And I'd finally brought that up to my therapist. And another thing I'd brought up that I just wasn't comfortable with was how many times adults called me childish. Oh, I don't know about you all, but me personally, that makes my blood boil, because I'm not childish. I am almost 24 years old, and you gonna call me childish. Bro, let's get the facts straight. Sorry, I'm a little sassy. That's how much it makes my blood boil. So we started piecing these together, okay? And found out that about 6 months ago, she said, you know what? She screened me, she tested me, we thoroughly talked about that possibility, thoroughly. And she's like, you know what, Raven? I think you have autism spectrum disorder. And then after more screening and talking about it, I finally officially got my autism diagnosis. She's like, she had actually asked me, she's like, I want you to know that even if you do, like, she's like, how important is it, because it's not, my therapist, I don't know about all therapists, sometimes they don't like to give you your diagnoses because they don't want to label you, is what they do. But for me, I asked my therapist to tell me, to let me know, because I need to know, in my opinion, I need to know. I like to research what I'm dealing with, and that helps me to cope, because I can look up, how to cope, coping skills. It just helps me personally to cope, to know what I'm dealing with. If I don't know what I'm dealing with, how can I develop coping skills? So when she finally, she's like, there's no treatment for autism. I was like, I know. It's like, well, you're autistic. You have Asperger's. It's primarily known as Asperger's syndrome. I was like, I'm weird with it. Like, I thought I was going to be so freaking happy. It's just like with my bipolar disorder, actually. Thought I was going to be so freaking happy with it, but I wasn't. And actually I was like in denial for a while, but it helps, because if I hadn't gotten to know my diagnosis, I wouldn't have been able to train Nina the way I needed to. So either way, it's cool. But I don't know. See, the thing is, a lot of people don't know that I'm autistic. Like, my mom, my sister, they don't know. It's just because when I first told everybody that I had bipolar disorder, this is not uncommon for people to do. Or an uncommon reaction, I guess, is the way. People said, no, you're just fine, you look fine. Because they have a stereotype of what bipolar disorder looks like. Well, there's unfortunately a stereotype of what autism looks like. They're inaccurate. No mental illness has a look like. Sorry, they don't. Everybody has different symptoms. It's whatever, you know. But my family included, unfortunately, didn't really understand that. They're still trying to wrap their head around it. Still, and it's been... I've been seeing my therapist for 4 years, so they've known I've had bipolar disorder for 4 years, and they still don't understand. So, some people just aren't going to understand, I guess, and it's whatever. But that's why I kind of haven't told anybody yet. I'm not ready to. I'm not ready for everybody to know, hey, I am autistic. But they do know that they have always known about my problems educationally wise. Like, my mom even straight up said herself, right? She didn't have to agree. She just said it herself that she knows that I've always been a slow reader, and English has been hard on me. That I've always been lower in that subject. Even though I am a really good writer and I do love to read, it's just not been a strong suit for me. So there's that. I don't know. It's just so it's hard because everybody says, "Hey, you're childish," and I'm like, "But am I? Am I? No, I'm not. I'm autistic, so I don't understand things on the way other people do. Like, okay, this topic got brought up because of okay, my mom took my sister's boyfriend and my fiance out to dinner, and me, okay, I'll admit it's unnecessary. Such a jealous monster, because I want to go. I feel left out. You know, I feel left out. And maybe that sounds spoiled. And it probably is. But I want to go. Like, I feel left out. And then all the same, I was like, wouldn't it make more sense? Like, the reason why she took them out is because my sister just moved out yesterday. And me and my fiance are moving out next week into an apartment of ours. So she took them out because I guess technically they're kind of taking her daughters from her. So she just wanted to have a dinner with them or whatever. I don't know. But me personally, it's kind of sad. Because I'm like, but, shouldn't that technically mean that you would want to take me and Sierra out? Since, it's we're moving out. We're the ones moving out. And I guess I just didn't really understand. Like, that's the thing. I don't understand. It makes no sense to me. It doesn't. And that's kind of the autism symptoms. Like, Lexi had to explain to me. She's like, babe, I don't think it's like that. She's like, it's really just that she probably just wants to take us out to kind of talk to us because it's kind of like we're kind of taking our babies from her. I was like, yeah, that's true. And my mom even said it later. And my sister, when I told her that, because I'd asked, are you jealous too? And then I explained, she called me and I explained, my opinion on it. She's like, Raven, that's a little spoiled and childish, right? And I'm like, see, that happens a lot to me. Actually, I get called either spoiled or childish. Granted, I'm a little spoiled, I'll be honest. I'm a little spoiled. It's cool. But the thing is it's like, and spoiled to me is a little insulting, but it's whatever. I'm willing to admit I'm a little spoiled. It's cool. But it's mostly just that I don't like being called childish. And the reason is because I know it's not that. okay? It's actually, part of it's my personality, part of it is my illnesses. Like, when I'm manic, I am very outgoing, I'm very bubbly, I'm very like, whoo, kind of everywhere. You guys have seen a video a little bit. That video is kind of how I am manic. That's just a snippet, okay? It is a snippet of me being manic in my previous videos. So if you want to see that, go check it out. That's just a snippet. That's not even it, okay? That's just, I literally, in that video, I legitimately thought I was, like, having a party, and my fiance is just like, okay. Just, and to me, I was having my own little party. It was, yeah. And it looks like nothing, but, like, legitimately, that's how I felt. Like, I was in this huge party, and I was the star of it all. And I really thought, like, I'm invincible, I'm this, and that, whatever. And in reality, I don't actually think that, but I do when I'm manic. Some people think I'm childish, or my autism, like I said. I understand things differently. You have to explain it to me, and then I'll be like, oh, don't understand where you're coming up with that from, but I get you. It's cool. I get you. Or sometimes I don't actually understand at all. Like, I don't understand how people think this, and I'm like thinking this. I don't get it. So that's cool. But I do understand, like, why people think that, I guess. So there's that. Like, I do understand, like, why my mom wants to take them out versus me and my sister. Like, I get why, okay? I guess I just don't understand where she comes up with that. I guess. I don't know. It's so hard to explain. So I guess that was really my whole motive of making this freaking video, was to, like, talk about that, and then that's kind of a sad thing, too, especially about being autistic and being an adult, and people don't understand that. They don't understand that you think differently. They don't understand that, and it's not fair, okay? They don't understand that. And what they really don't understand is, I don't know. They just don't understand that it's not really being childish. It's just that you don't understand. You just need the prior sorry, I'm starting. You can see my symptoms getting going up. That's the autism. When I repeat things, unfortunately, I tap, and I know I actually used to never notice this, that I tap. I don't know why I do. I just do. But it's one of Nina's alerts. I'm not tapping out, so of course she's not gonna alert, because she doesn't know. She's behind me. But that's how I taught her to alert to the autism, because she alerts to my tapping. And then the the stuttering, the lapse in thought, or like that right there, where are there, that silence before because I have to collect my thoughts again, because I don't know. I guess I get ahead of myself. I don't know. It's not really ahead of myself. Like, I just forget where I'm going with my train of thought. I have to think. I have to collect my thoughts. Those are some of my autistic symptoms too. Well, anyway, tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me what you think. If any of you all are autistic, is that some of your symptoms? Do you deal with that stigma? Childish autism? If you have bipolar disorder, when you're manic, do people say you're childish when you're manic? What about you all? I'm just curious. What about you all? Remember that everybody is different and everybody has different symptoms. So, I guess it's just curious whether or not other people deal with this or not. Thanks for joining us. If you like this video, like it. If you support our channel Or if you want to see more videos, please feel free to subscribe. We'd appreciate it. Thanks. Thanks for joining us. It's Bella signing off. Bye.